Hotapu everyone. Welcome to Ra Golden Beetle Shamanism. My name is King Ra Sumaba Ifagbe, and I am the king and founder of the Golden Beetle system of gay shamanism. This marks the beginning of a new series of lectures I'll be doing on YouTube to help the world understand a bit more about our traditions and our ways here in the Golden Beetle. We are a brotherhood of African-based gay shamans, and yet truth speaks to all people. So although I'll focus my attention towards the gay community, the words I speak, hopefully, will resound with all people on earth. Many around the world watch our videos, many of whom are not two-spirit or all spirits or gay. But I wish for my words to help all people. So, the most important thing to understand about the Golden Beetle is why we exist, what we're trying to accomplish here. Our mission is to uplift the gay community and the planet through the principle of Nefertiti. Now, many think that the word Nefertiti refers to a person in history. But before that person existed, the word was. And Nefer means beautiful. Titi means double. So Nefertiti means doubly beautiful. And this refers to our core ethic, that we must become doubly beautiful, beautiful on the inside and beautiful on the outside. Beautiful of character internally and beautiful of form externally, surrounding ourselves in the finest of things that this world has to offer. Now, to do this, one must have a methodology, a technique, to attain doubly beautiful consciousness. Beauty to us must now be defined very carefully. Beauty is not subjective to us, it is a science. So Nefertiti means the science of beauty. There is a science of creating a beautiful character in a gay man, and a science of creating a beautiful form in a gay man, or anyone on earth. Both are sciences. Now, the internal science of good character, or beauty of spirit, is subsumed in our teachings of what's called the 18 sounds and the 18 laws. Yes, there are 18 sounds, 18 syllables, that if you chant these sounds, they will trigger inside of you good character, patience, love, kindness, forgiveness, tolerance, humanitarianism, cooperation. Each of these sounds has a law, a set of rules that activate that power, that virtue of character. You see, the internal nefer is virtuous living, basically being a good person, a kind person, and a wise person, helping others. Many think that character is something that you build slowly, or you have more or less at birth. No. All of you have the power within you of good and clean character. But because of the lack of education of the spirit in the Western world, you've not been trained in the science of developing, becoming a good person. It's simply 18 sounds you repeat over and over and over. And like magic, you become a good person. Our children become good children. We become better friends, better lovers, better parents, better leaders. The function of life is to be good and to spread goodness and to help others find their goodness. So the Golden Beetle has come, in particular, to help the gay community have a methodology that is foolproof to make us better men. And as being better men, we help each other, the planet, and all humanity. Is there anything greater in life than being a good person? Every institution in the world has its objective as improving human behavior, education, religion, politics, all have the agenda of good social behavior and harmonious living. And the external side of Nefertiti, external beauty, is not what one may think it is in the Western terms, no. External beauty is a science. Now, there are some Western systems that have studied this science very carefully. They are called Wall Street marketing teachings and techniques. They study beauty very carefully and put it in commercials and ads to make you buy things you don't really need or may not want. But they have the science so tight, the beauty hooks you because beauty is an awesome force of nature. And they link beauty to a car or to, heaven forbid, beer or cigarettes or whatever they want you to buy. And lo and behold, over time, many buy these terrible things. In our system, beauty means science of proportion. Beauty is not subjective to us, it is objective. There are ratios and harmonies to composition, be it music, be it painting, be it sculpture, be it poetry, that if struck, you will all feel something beautiful move you from the painting, the sculpture, or the poem. This was the science of Kemet. All of their art forms, every single one, for 5,000 years plus, never changed in their composition, canon, and proportions. Always in Kemet, they had the same art forms. Now imagine that. Imagine in the West, no art movements, no Impressionism, no Baroque, no Romanticism. No, in Kemet, it was one system for 5,000 plus years. Why? Because of the same things discovered by modern advertisers. Beauty has rules. There's a law to it. And if you stick to the advertising tricks, your product will sell. We said if you stick to the advertising tricks of heaven, people will be sold on being good, be sold on the divine life. So in Kemet, when you walked out of your house, you didn't see billboards for cigarettes and for cars and for De Beers diamonds. No, you saw ads, so to speak, for divinity, gods, sacred myths, and good character. So, inside is the beauty of character given by the 18 sounds and its 18 laws, and each law is ruled by what's called an angel, a Nefertiti. And all you have to do is sing to the Nefertiti of kindness and love and forgiveness, and they will grant you their gift, their boon of kindness, goodness, and forgiveness. To help reinforce good character, we surround you in forms that have harmonic, sacred proportions. The golden ratio, the phi ratio, the Fibonacci series, all these sacred harmonics. And as long as you have things around you that speak to harmonic beauty found in nature, you will find yourself acting more civilized. You see, the purpose of beauty, of Nefertiti, is to make you civilized, to give you culture. Now, the word culture is a very important word that must be defined very carefully. Culture means to take something from its wild state and turn it into a refined state. For example, you cultivate a garden. You take wild plants, weeds, and all kinds of bush and bramble, and you cure it, you tame it, you develop it, and it becomes a beautiful garden. So culture's function is to take the wildness in people, the wildness in the gay community, our wild animalistic behaviors of anger and fear and worry and insecurity, and transform those into peace and harmony and joy and happiness. So culture requires human intervention the way a garden would. Now, the question now becomes, Do all cultures, quote-unquote cultures, use loosely that term, actually have a culture? Well, unless those people, that nation, is using things to make their people more refined, then it's not a culture. We don't want to define culture as the conglomeration of art and music and literature of a people. No. It's the technology of turning you from wild, angry, violent, aggressive, foolish, rude, heartless, to kind and sweet, sensitive and caring about others. Now, a culture has an agenda, a target. To explain this bit very quickly, there is a science that the Western people have discovered recently, known by the Africans since time immemorial. It is called psychobiology. It is a kind of science that says that people's behavior is linked to their biology, that they are one and the same. We call it spiritual psychobiology. Now, I'm going to explain this very simply. It gets much more complex as we have more workshops and seminars done. But for now, think of this as a beginner's crash course. Culture, or refining of human wildness, must target the brain. The brain is its goal. So imagine for now that you have not one brain, but you have 6 brains. Or we could say one brain with 6 major subsets. They break into 2, so you have 2, 2, and 2. 2 wild brain centers, animalistic. 2 human brain centers, between animal and humanitarian. And then 2 divine brain centers, where the spiritual light within you resides. So, the lower 2 brains are called the medulla oblongata, which is at the base of your nape of your neck, and it's also referred to as the R complex, the reptilian complex. Note my words carefully. Reptilian. The reptile within you. And its cohort is the mammalian brain, the mammal's brain. So look, we have words in science describing the brains as beasts and reptiles. It is those 2 brains that are the target of culture. They are the source of the wildness you see on the 5 o'clock news every night. I don't call it the news, I call it the olds. It's the same old sad story of murder, betrayal, treachery, violence, thieving, evil. Every night it's the same old story. So let's call it the olds. And so what's happening on the news is you're seeing the failure of culture. Those people killing and maiming and being violent are not in control of their animal reptilian impulses. So they're wild and damaging to themselves and to those in their way. So the reptile within, reptiles, think of them, lizards, snakes, they respond to fight and flight, and they respond to sex and body language. For example, you are a gay man going to a club. You want to go dancing. You put on your tightest shirt, your tightest jeans. What are you really doing? Displaying for sex. Reptile is getting dressed. You then go to the club, and you look around, you see beautifully half-clad men, dancing and sweating, wriggling and writhing to the beat of the music. Reptiles speak through what language? Body movement. So dance is a reptilian phenomenon within us. And the function of the dance at the club is to attract you, or you to attract another man. Reptilian body language, displaying for mating. So the clubs, all clubs of any persuasion, are really reptile zoos, where your reptiles can talk to each other in the language of body movement, pheromone, scent, musk, and such. When you walk down the street and you oogle a fella, you give him the eye and you smile, again, body language, reptilian communication tools. The mammal within you, the midbrain, is more the emotive part of you, the emotional side of you, the elation and the depression, the fear, the joy, the happiness, the anger, the fury, the softness. Anyone with pets knows that animals have a wide range of emotional expression. And nature gave us these two brains to give us a connection to nature. Now, these two brains, the reptilian complex and the mammal, the reptile and the beast within you, are the source of evil in humanity. I have just defined evil very simply. The failure to control your reptile and mammal. That's it. So then Neter, the supreme androgynous being, the creator, gave us two more sets of brains called the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is what we call the human brain, the humanizing brain. It does not operate like an animal. It is not instinctive. It's where reason and creativity can be programmed. Reason, thought. You have an impulse to hit someone, that's the reptile mammal in you. But the reason in you, the rational side of your brain says, let me think that through first, before I act. Animals can't do that. When they're frightened, they act a certain way. When they're hungry, they must respond. When they're in heat, they must respond. They can't break instinct without training, nor can we. So the cerebral cortex in the gay community is the part of us that is receptive to a program of culture, of refining the animal impulses for social harmony. So you have two brains that are wild, two brains that have the desire to tame the wild part, and then we have two more brains called the pineal pituitary centers, or we call the brains of the golden chamber, or the crystal palace. In those brains, pituitary and pineal, sits the highest divine forces in humanity. And these forces bring the divine golden program of how to tame the wild animal. So the cerebral cortex should go talk to the golden palace brain and say, great golden beings of light within, give us the program, the techniques of taming the wildness of those two lower brains. What I'm saying is very important. It is key that the cortex does not create the program. It must go to the pineal pituitary center, the golden palace within, the crystal palace, and receive the divine program from the spirit world. Now, there are levels of meditation that you can take that take you into the pineal pituitary golden palace, and if you go there, what you will hear will be music. You will hear songs. You will hear heavenly choirs singing onto the universe. And as you tune into that deep meditational state, the music will give you information. You see, everything in nature carries data. Gravity carries data. Scientists decode this. Electricity carries information. Scientists decode this. And sound and music carry information. So, when you're in that golden palace, you will hear beautiful harmonies, exquisite chords. Have you ever listened to birds outside? Has it ever struck you that with all the many thousands of birds in a particular forest or in your backyard, all of their songs sound harmonious with each other? They somehow don't clash. It's very peaceful and perfect. Why is this? because birds sing in specific harmonic ratios. All birds sing in harmonic frequencies, in thirds, or perfect fifths, or perfect fourths. And because of that, no matter how many birds are singing, somehow it sounds beautiful, natural, and peaceful. So birds give the message. They always sing in certain harmonies. So in this golden palace, you will hear notes. La, la. That's a perfect fifth. Note how it feels to your spirit, to your being. It sounds peaceful, it sounds correct, it sounds harmonious. La, 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 la. The perfect fifth. So you hear these angelic beings singing in these harmonies over and over, forming the universe. And those harmonies have a message to you. So the ancient gay shamans of Kemet heard these songs in their golden palace, and then came out and used their cerebral cortex left and right brains, the left brain to analyze and break down the song and the notes, and the right brain to figure out creative ways of applying it to the animal mind. So for example, let's take the perfect fifth, a wonderful and powerful harmonic ratio. The perfect fifth, if you were to draw it as a geometric shape, would be an equilateral triangle, meaning the ratios of the lines of a triangle in a circle would have the same ratio as the perfect fifth. So the sound can be drawn as an equilateral triangle in a circle. So they said, this beautiful note, la, la, chord, is the same thing as a triangle of equal length. What if now I decided to draw a blueprint of a building made of a series of equilateral triangles on the ground, and then built walls with that kind of triangular basis around them? The building now is frozen music. It is a frozen perfect fifth written in stone. So you walk into that building and you feel the same thing you feel here. La, la. The geometry of the building is singing to you. You see? And then you build jewelry with the ratios of the perfect fifth. The 3-2 harmonic ratio. 3 vibrations of one note, 2 to the other. And then you wear that jewelry and you feel a kind of beauty and harmony on you. The same harmony of the birds' songs. You see what's happening? In the Golden Palace, we heard a song, a sound, and the left and right brain worked together to figure out how to decode the message hiding in that harmonic ratio, and then applied it through art, architecture, sacred geometry. On and on it goes. This is beauty to us, external beauty, based upon the sacred geometry of the bird's song, of the motion of the starry planets, the phi ratio, the golden ratio, the Fibonacci series, or called the Egyptian temple series. So all of our art sings like birds. That's why Egyptian art never changed, because why would perfect harmony ever change? Does perfect harmony go through movements? Through artistic expressions? No. Harmony is harmony. Ratios are ratios. Math is math. So, when you surround yourself with external Nefertiti, what I mean is sacred art, the art of Kemet, the only culture that made the production of non-sacred art illegal. You would have gotten arrested in Kemet if you wrote any of the songs we hear on modern radios or the art that we see on television or in museums. You would have been arrested because your art is giving a message. It's singing something. And the Pharaoh said, do not harm the beauty in the souls of the people looking at your art or hearing it. Art is the master tool of culture. of turning wild humans into refined humanitarian beings of social harmony. Not to make you sell or to buy products. Commercials and ads are art. They are high art. Commercials on television use what? Lights, color, sound, rhythm, all the things of art. They call it commercials, but it really is high art, designed for only one goal, to make you buy. How vulgar. What a degenerate use of art indeed. Buy this, buy that, consume, consume, consume. Is that the meaning of life? Is that the function of art? Some say art is designed to be what's called slice of life technique, where your art expresses a reality of some lifestyle. But what if the reality of that person is crazy? What if they're disturbed? Should we slice of life that and immortalize that in art? The Kamau of Egypt said no. Because that book, that story, that poem, that lyric will derange the harmony of the spirit of the listener or viewer. So no. To us, art must maintain a strict, what we call canon, a strict ratio. The closest that the Western world came to this was Baroque music, particularly of Bach. He got it right and became the father of modern Western music. Classical music, I should say. So, art is the master tool to turn wild gay men into refined beings of light. But I must iterate. The art must be like birdsong, always harmonic ratios. Be it your clothes, your jewelry, the paintings around you, the sculptures, whatever form of it is, the music you listen to, the poems you read. Even our poems, the meter. Cadence is the breath. The breath, you say, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Breathe. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Breathe. You see, your breathing is being segmented into portions. The perfect fifth, if you have a string that's tight, you divide the string into thirds. So you have one length, divide it into thirds. Pinch 1/3 off from the remaining 2/3. Just pinch it there, and then pluck the string with your finger pinching it. The larger part, the 2/3 part of the string, will vibrate to a perfect fifth from the open strings sound. So you see, you are segmenting the string to get different notes. So, that is true culture. And when the wild brains hear la, 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 all notes that birds sing, music tames the savage beast. That is the function of art. Music in all of its forms, whether it's frozen music of stone and architecture, the music of the shape of your jewelry ratios, or the actual songs you sing. That's how you tame your wild nature. And we have sounds, the 18 sounds, that if you play them over and over and over, will calm you down, tame your jealousy, your anger, your violence, your frustration, your depression. These things rack the gay community and they rack the world. The beast is released from the basement. Why the basement? It's the lower brain, it's the bottom of your head. That's the basement. It's all symbology. The swamp creature, the kraken from the depths. So beauty and art will tame those parts of you. All of your fears and worries need to be sung to over and over and over again. This is the science of Nefertiti. This will make you doubly beautiful. So, the Golden Beetle men are trained in the arts. Because through sacred art, in the act of creating, they become calm. They become happy, peaceful, cooperative, and loving. So, I call forth the science of the arts of ancient Kemet. And we have jewelers, we are training people in clothing. All of these things are done through sacred proportions of ancient Kemet. We have artisans, sculptors, we're training painters, beaters, all types of people to learn this science so that you can get jewelry and art that lifts your spirit, making you a better person, making you Nefertiti, beautiful on the outside and beautiful on the inside. In my hand I hold what's called the sacred Hek, staff of kings. The ratios of this staff are very carefully measured to be a bird song. I'm holding a bird song in my hands in the form of frozen metal and gilt gold. Initiation is when you learn, what is the song telling you? The master, the gay shamanic teacher, sits you down and slowly but surely unpeels for you the song being told to you by this glyph, this deity, that deity, this sacred building, the pyramid, Karnak. Slowly, they unveil the song to you, and you will recognize the song within your own self. And by hearing it through sculpture, architecture, or jewel, you feel more beautiful inside. You feel connected to the building, to the song. So, stay tuned for more discussion on art, the main scientific tool for turning wild people into harmonious, social, cooperative people. So, thru, be well, and may you always be Nefertiti. Hotapu.